Hey guys, good morning, good afternoon, whatever the case may be. So, greetings from freezing cold Balboa Island, California. We are cold, cold, cold here today. Um, Markets are off, man. It's been a great morning. The futures last night, last night when we sent out the email to everybody, futures were already looking higher, and it looked pretty stable all night long. So we didn't get any of that, that bleed back that you get on these things sometimes, where it's just coming back in again over the course of the night. Everything just rolled out nicely into the morning, and stable futures inline open like that is something we haven't seen over the last few weeks, anyways. And we were waiting for a bounce, and today is the bounce. I don't know if it's going to be sizzle or fizzle, but going into the end of the day today, it looks pretty promising that we're going to have a pretty strong close. So today's probably the bounce that we've all been waiting for, and then we'll see how much more of a correction we're in for. I don't think this is going to be it. I don't think this is the last of the downdraft. But there might be some longer-term buying opportunities coming up as we get into some long-term support and resistance for those of you who are technical traders and you're looking for things to add to positions. Then I think the next couple of weeks are probably going to be pretty good for you. And in the meantime, the trading has been really good all morning, and I think will continue to be pretty good for the rest of the session. Let's take a look at the charts. I'm focused mainly on those triple Qs and NQs right now. But there's also some action in the Magnificent Seven to take a look at. Here they are. We've got, the morning has just really been dominated by the move in our triple Qs and the spiders and diamonds and everything. So we had the gap move higher. That held up above R1. So when there was that pullback in the market this morning, everybody, uh-oh, here we go again. It didn't really concern me at all, because as we were coming down to that 474.27 threshold level and held, we didn't get any inflection really that was deeper than the early morning open. So when it came down, and it came down through there, and the elasticity of that price band right there was tested, what we didn't see was a big move lower. What we saw instead was the Q started trading in the box. So going sideways, that gave us a couple of entry opportunities on the long side with the NQ. And, volatility is still high there, so check your margin requirements with whoever your broker may be. And then over the course of the day, once we got up above this threshold 477.27, I was talking to Naranjan and the guys in the room this morning, and that 477.27 on the pullbacks has been just a really solid trade. So all of these inflections lower have been opportunities to pop back into the market and get a hold of the upside that was to be had. So it's been real good in terms of triple Qs. Your trades on Google and Meta and the Tesla, the Magnificent Seven. So these haven't been as straightforward today because we're sort of still looking both sides of the market. So Google, earlier we had this move up into the pivot area, so up in a 167.21, and we were looking for 166.32. Never quite got down there. And once it settled back into that area right there, that sort of became the profit objective. So it's been a shifting target. There hasn't been as tight as it has for the past couple of days, where we could just really predict where those inflections were going to be and just pick them off one after the other. On Meta this morning, so this one was great. So you guys who are getting ready to join us when we head down to sunny and warm, hopefully Miami, Florida, Miami Beach, for boot camp, you should be looking at these kind of setups right here and say, oh, that's a double header, right? So again, my book and my whole methodology was written around that baseball metaphor. If you're joining us from England or from Europe, it's a kings and queens setup in the book there. But that was a 602.12 entry, or just below 602.12, maybe a 602.08 entry, and I know that my friend Bud is counting his money because he wrote it down into I believe, that pivot line. So down into 599.21 or maybe even lower. Hopefully he caught even more of that move. So early in the session, again, pattern entries. So pattern entries on the overextension. And that's hard sometimes to wrap your head around when you've got a market that's, just ripping straight up. But remember, some of the around the horn patterns are exhaustion patterns. And when you get those exhaustion patterns, then your job is to figure out, is there a reversal in the making here that's got room down to a profit objective, and that profit objective should always be something logical, like a support and resistance line. It's not about how much money you want to make or what you're willing to lose. Remember, that market doesn't care. It's all about where the order flow is. We also had Tesla. Tesla has been a long side bias pretty much all day. No indication here of any kind of a reversal pattern. So it's just been a matter of waiting for the pullbacks. And when we got down into this threshold right here, that's $246.98, right above a volume by price node out here. And then also you've got this anchored VWAP that's really telling you that's where a lot of order flow is settling. So as this came down and tagged this line, you had just really good opportunities for those reversal moves back up to the pivot. So 246.98 up to 248.44. It's done it twice so far. I'm going to keep watching that one for that move. It's a little bit elastic, right? Underneath this line, you've got a little bit of give. That can be about $1 on Tesla, so when you're looking at those swings, always gauge them. In this case, it's only about 40 or 50 cents, and it's coming right down to that guy right there. So right down to the anchored VWAP, behaving perfectly. If it goes below that anchored VWAP, I'm not going to look for the reversal higher, but as long as it stays above this orange line right there, when it makes the reversals, then what I'm going to look for is a move back up through 246.98, and I'm looking to tag that 248.44 level. Not looking for a reversal on Tesla today outside of the one that we had first thing in the morning. We called that in the room. That was an infield fly setup on Tesla. Hope some of you caught it. I did not, right? So that was a bummer for me because that was a beauty. So that move down below that low of the infield fly bar, that had a lot of open room for profitability. 246.98 was the first target. That was right on this line right here. But after we got down through there, that central pivot was really the open target. That was all the way down at $240 and change, 240.52, something like that. So there was a good opportunity for the reversal stuff right around the open on most of these things. But over the course of the day, the game plan has been, let's wait for the reversions to those price thresholds that we've identified. You can see it there on NVIDIA too. NVIDIA, if we get back down into that level right there at about $120 and maybe 35, 45 cents, then we've got the opportunity here for a long up to that 121.10, 121.14 threshold. But don't try to fight the tape. Don't try to get smart and get out in front of it or anything, because that tends to be where your fingers get burned. So stay on the side of the trend. Let's just stay focused on what's the market doing, not what we would like it to do. And then if we get more pullbacks, if we get more opportunities for long side entries, that's great. But unless we see a real specific pattern entry that says, it's like an around the horn pattern where we're going to get a reversal and wow, we're going to get back down into the range, I'm just going to avoid the short side of the market altogether. Everything's green, right? The whole heat map is just lit up and green as it can be. No sector is moving lower as of right now. So as long as that's the case, let's go with the flow, and trend is your friend, that kind of thing, right? Okay, so you guys have a great weekend, and I will see everybody back here next week.